And there I was. I was the girl from Suits.
This One's Wife, The Secret Split. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. There is suggestion that there is a secret split that has taken place within the Sussex state, that there has been some severance that has taken place. You'll recall that last year there were various rumours about divorce being imminent. You'll also recall that it was suggested that they had already actually separated and that the public appearances were just being done for the purposes of preserving the brand, to make money, and for saving face. The suggestions that divorce is imminent seem to have receded, and the suggestions that they had actually separated don't appear to have been repeated particularly often, and therefore it may well be the case that people have accepted that they are actually still together. As I've explained to you in detail previously, that Harry, as the intimate partner primary source of a narcissist, is subjected to a period of seduction, where he has the golden period. He then enters a sustained devaluation, which is where he is at the moment, and pockmarked throughout that, he experiences short golden periods, which are known as respite periods. Where the relationship goes after that, well, it might be that he escapes, unlikely. It's possible that the roller coaster ride keeps on going, with him getting a respite period, then being devalued, respite period, devalued, so on and so forth, and they stay together for many years yet. Possible. Or she disengages from him and kicks him to the curb. There are 5 disengagement triggers, and the 2 that are most likely with regard to the scenario with the Sussexes are that either she finds somebody else, or Harry's worth becomes so worthless that he effectively is viewed as a malfunctioning appliance and is kicked into touch, precipitating a search elsewhere. Naturally, her narcissism would prefer that she found somebody else first and then got rid of Harry, so there can be a seamless segueing from one intimate primary source into the other, thus maintaining the integrity of the fuel matrix, the provision of residual benefits and character traits. But it's not always guaranteed that that can occur. I've also explained that disengagement, to my mind, is the most likely outcome, given the fact that Harry is less enamoured with life over there than he suggests that he is, and the fact that he is not going to be able to continue to deliver to the extent that she requires. But there is fresh news of some form of secret split, and this comes courtesy of Daniela Elsa from news.com.au. Is it the case that the rumours about divorce have resurfaced? Is there some information that she's party to that we are not? Is it the case that disengagement looms on the horizon sooner than we first envisaged? Well, she writes, in 1978, when Princess Margaret put down her ivory cigarette holder long enough to sign the paperwork to end her marriage to the Earl of Snowdon, the world got very excited about how big a deal it was that a princess was getting divorced. Truth be told, the royal family has been getting up to the same thing, or trying to, since Henry VIII decided to dump Catherine of Aragon. A real shout-out to George IV, who tied the British House of Lords up for months, trying to legally dump his wife Caroline of Brunswick in 1820. Last year, rumours of a new royal split started to trickle out from the House of Monty shitshow. Was everything quite okay with Prince Harry and this one's wife, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex? Their increasingly dour faces did not help, along with claims that Harry sometimes took himself off to a nearby hotel on his lonesome. As a Telegraph reported last May, the omens are bad. Now comes fresh news from the snowy slopes of Canada, confirming that a major Sussex change is afoot. The couple are indeed splitting. Professionally, that is. The last week has seen both Harry and this one's wife make big announcements, with a new business deal in the bag and a big new TV interview beamed around the world. However, where these latest developments differ is that each one only included one half of the formerly inseparable professional twosome. Mark the time. Note the date. Harry and This One's Wife Incorporated is officially kaput. First, hitherto little-known podcast company Lemonardo Media made global headlines after it was revealed that This One's Wife, and only This One's Wife, had joined their stable of talent. While both Sussexes were hired by Spotify back in 2020, this time around only the former Suits star got her name up in lights on Industry Bible Deadline. So what of her other half? Last week the couple was in Whistler for a series of promotional events for the 2025 Invictus Games, during which Harry gave an interview to Good Morning America, and only Harry. While the Duke has tended to undertake Invictus media outings solo, this being his baby and all, these two outings, Lemonada and GMA, one after another, really drives home that Harry and This One's Wife have truly divvied up their working lives, and never the twain shall meet. At some point in the last year, the couple seems to have built a sort of professional Berlin Wall down the middle of their working lives. Remember way back when, in March 2020, when the Duke and Duchess decided to go the full Stars and Stripes, they were signing so many deals together that I'm sure they invested in matching ceremonial Mont Blancs. Harry Walker Agency, Netflix, Spotify, and Wall Street asset manager Ethic all both got the salt and pepper shakers that were Harry and This One's Wife. Remember in 2022, when This One's Wife told The Cut, "We're like salt and pepper, we always move together." However, the ground has clearly shifted. The start of 2023 saw Harry release his supersized sieve of feelings, spare, and undertake the attendant publicity onslaught solo. But hey, it was his tale, his truth, his journey. This One's Wife going a wall from his side seemed like a temporary recalibration, and as I explained at the time, she was hanging him out to dry. But then came the diverging. The last 9 months have seen Harry and This One's Wife drift off on different work paths, with the Duchess joining the books of the biggest of Hollywood whales, Agents WME in April, and Harry learning how to fix a shed. Okay, that's pure speculation, but what else has he been doing? Their Spotify deal is long dead and buried, and their Netflix deal is looking increasingly like it's about to get its last rites. Earlier this month, Netflix head of content, Bella Bayaria, dialed up the pep, saying that the Sussexes actually have like a bunch in development, including a movie, a TV series, and a couple of unscripted shows. But like peppy PR cheerleading does not a successful career necessarily make. Since then, a Hollywood source with knowledge of the situation has told the Daily Mail's Alison Boshoff the Netflix deal is a dead duck. There is an across-the-board acknowledgement that Netflix will want to get out of or scale down further the deal at the earliest contractual opportunity. And if Netflix goes, that's the final shared Sussex domino. If the couple are not busy brainstorming a deux to make all that inspirational and hopeful programming they originally promised us, then their work divorce will be official. Take Netflix off the table, and the Duke and Duchess face wholly separate paths. This One's Wife, one would imagine, will continue to pursue whatever WME mastermind Ari Emanuel has been cooking up, though this association has so far borne no fruit aside from the Lemonada deal. There will be some new podcast at some stage, but don't hold your breath. Spotify had to wait nearly 2 years for the Duchess to get Archetypes to air. For much of last year, there has been a continued noise about This One's Wife, any second now, launching some sort of online business or website, all of which has come to naught. So too her staging a return to Instagram. Still nothing. At least This One's Wife has irons in the fire. What the dickens will the self-exiled Duke actually do with himself in the years to come? The Invictus Games remains a clear-cut ring-a-ding success story, but aside from that, one's not sure what he's going to do with his mornings and his afternoons and all the other working hours of the day, while This One's Wife is off ideating in the other room. There have previously been claims that he has a documentary about conservation in Africa, possibly in the works, what with Harry having served for years as the president, then joining the board of the conservation group African Parks. But last month, a series of reports levelled stunningly horrific claims of rape, torture and abuse against the armed guards of African Parks. Hard to make the alleged violent physical and sexual assault of the Baka people by African Parks rangers into a bit of an upbeat middle-brow programming, isn't it? A year on, Penguin Random House hasn't popped up to announce they want the Duke to write them another bestseller, and he doesn't seem to have done anything in his guise as Chief Impact Officer of billion-dollar coaching startup BetterUp since March last year. Though last August, the company's staff has staged a revolt after a round of layoffs and told the Daily Beast that day to day, the Duke of Sussex did 0 things for the company and called him a distraction. For Harry, the phone, as far as is publicly known, is not exactly ringing off the hook. Where does that leave us? Two people who seem to have given up on trying to sell themselves to corporate powerhouses and the world as a package deal, and who have now decoupled. The band will not be getting back together. This all applies to their 9-to-5 lives. However, come 5:01 p.m, release the Doves. On Valentine's Day, the Duke and Duchess were photographed hand-in-hand enjoying a romantic dinner at high-end Italian joint Il Caminetto, because nothing says eternal and everlasting love like a few shared starters and an extra glass of vino. Facade management. How will post-divorce Harry and this one's wife fare out there in the cold, hard, working world? Their two worlds might have diverged in a wood, but they still have a mortgage to pay. Ari better work his magic. Now, interestingly, Daniela Elsa has identified that there is a evident professional split between the two. And to my mind, this will only hasten disengagement. Harry, as she's pointed out, doesn't really seem to have anything that he's able to do, and that will diminish further his usefulness to this one's wife. For the time being, of course, she needs to cling to the life raft, which is the royal connection, because she hasn't got anything else. But if, and clearly this is her aim, if she is able to land stuff in her own right, she will then decide that she no longer needs that life raft because she'll have jumped upon another ship. And this is what's actually going on here. The professional split is such that probably Harry has had enough of the celebrity activity that she has dragged him into. But he's left kicking his heels as to what he's actually going to do next. She, desperate of course to cling on to the fame and the wealth that she's managed to achieve, wants to ensure that she gets more of the same, but sees that she's more likely to achieve that without Harry. In the meanwhile, hypocrite as she is, she will continue to utilise the royal connection until such time as she has secured, if she's able, an alternative birth. But it does, to my mind, demonstrate that his disengagement is all the more likely, because as there is the professional severance, she's preparing for life without Ginger Bollocks. What do you think? Do you think there has been a professional split, or do you just think this is a temporary state of affairs and that they will continue to try and forge a way forward as a couple and a duo? Or do you think that this one's wife is preparing for her own exit from the union with Harry? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. I'm HG Tudor. Thank you for listening.